Girl, I had to come back live, girl. Girl, it must have been that sandwich from the slutty vegan girl. Oh, girl. These thoughts has just been on my mind, girl, and I be needing y'all to help me process this. I wanted to wear this little piece today. I made this. This is made out of 3 muscles and 3 bones. I like this. I'm trying to get this to be a headpiece too. I think that'll be a cute headpiece. But anyway, it also could probably go this way. Like that. I like that too. But yeah, so what made me start thinking about this was I was thinking about how some trans women don't really see it for trans men. And you know that some trans women don't really see it for trans men, like don't really see them as men by the way that they talk about themselves. And so that led me down a mental rabbit hole. So then I started wondering, would the Freemasons accept trans men? Then I started thinking, when Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner, could Caitlyn Jenner have been a Freemason? And could it have been Caitlyn Jenner's role as a Freemason to transition? Like, was all of that planned in Freemason society? Because Freemasons run the world. So I'm really just going here to ask a question. Do y'all think that they allow trans men to be Freemasons? And do you think that trans women can be Freemasons if they don't start off as Freemasons? I'm gonna let y'all stew on that. Hey, Fatima. Yeah, so I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, I'm trying to get some of y'all to come on because I need the collective, you know what I'm saying, to give me some to help me process this. Because I was like, like we know that some trans women don't see it for trans men, like don't really see them as men, obviously, because they still feel like they're men. And well, and then some trans men still see themselves as women, even though they not really honest about it. You could just tell by how they move. But some trans women are more vocal about the fact that they'll still call themselves a man or still say at the end of the day I'm a man. You don't hear trans women, you don't hear trans men talk like that. I've never heard a trans woman say at the end of the day I'm a woman. At the end of the day I'm still a woman. I've never heard a trans man say that, but I have heard a trans man say my vagina is real and yours isn't. I have heard a trans man say my vagina is real and yours is fake, which is pretty much the same as saying like, so you have the trans women who will say, at the end of the day I'm still a man, or don't forget, I'm still a man. You have trans women who will say that, but you have trans men who will say, my vagina is real and yours is fake. So I'm just wondering who gets to be a Freemason? Like, do they accept some trans men into Freemasonry after their transition? Is there some trans women who, become who step into Freemasonry as men and then while they're in it, like it becomes the role, because you know that, as a Freemason, in order for them to run every part of the world, they gotta have a member that's been infiltrated every angle. So do they have men that are Freemasons where their role is eventually to transition? And are there some females who are groomed to transition to become men so that they could become a part of Freemasonry? We having them higher level conversations over here at Lay Lim Lay Learn. Like, y'all, don't nobody talk about this. Don't nobody talk about this. They only talk about this on Lay Lim Lay Learn. We only talk about stuff like this over here. Like, we only asking these questions. What other platform you are asking these questions? What other trans person you hear talking like this? What other one? Name it. I'ma wait. Name the trans person. I'ma wait. This is off topic. What does Laylim Layler stand for? Laylim Layler means let him, let her, I am whole. Yes, Fatima. Looking really beautiful with your crown, my queen. Thank you. Caitlin is a crossdresser who took it too far for true auto genophile. A true auto genophile. Child, I'm gonna have to Google that. Fatima, you be having these. You be having the words, Fatima. You is learning, baby. I gotta Google that. Hey, Aaron. The Kardashian clan are a tool on the greatest stage. All they are used for and allowed to exist is for to push industry, commerce, and agenda. So you don't think that Caitlyn is like Freemason level? I think the first step is a fraternity. Then you graduate into it. But to me, it would seem like if it's a secret society, some stuff is a secret. Like it's very possible that there's a secret portion of beings that could be being groomed to become Freemasons, and like kind of like I remember one of my sisters wanted to be Jehovah Witness. And in order to be accepted into the Jehovah Witness, she had to go and have testing done and prove that she had intersex tissue, which made her physically more female than male. And when she was able to prove that, they let her in to become a Jehovah Witness, and she went into stealth. So you don't think that it's possibly some trans people? Like, cause I think the Freemasons got lesbians, obvious. I mean, the Freemasons got gay men, obviously. Um, Oh, damn. So how would lesbians fit into that? Well, maybe the trans man would be the advisor to the lesbian community. Like maybe no lesbians are actually a part of the Freemason if it's an all male society, but or that centers the male in some way, because like I could see a trans woman getting in there if the trans woman is still accepting the male pronouns, which makes sarah mcbride's sarah mcbride's um character in this matrix truly unique, because watching Sarah McBride acquiesce to constantly being called Mr. and Sir and he and using the men's bathroom, it really makes you feel like all of this is scripted. It really makes you feel like people are positioned and put in places for like this is like that like Sarah had to be groomed for that, because I'm not understanding how how your platform and how your messaging is. That's nonsensical, and you don't really want to talk about trans issues. But I'm sure that that was one of the reasons why you were elected, because you were trans. Like, there must have been a great queer constituency in Delaware that helped to push you into office. If not, if it didn't, if the queer community, because I can't believe that Delaware is just so progressive that they around here electing trans people. So either there's a strong queer community that really pushed for you to get elected, or you were put in that position, like you were chosen, like that was already set up for you to step into that position. Now if you won it by merit, then you had to have had a huge part of the queer community backing you. And if the queer community is some of your main constituents who are backing you to get you in that position, why would you then get in office and say, that's not why I was elected? I wasn't elected to defend trans issues, but that was part of the reason why you were elected. Like, they didn't just look at you and see a person and they were like, "Oh, I don't even see trans. This is a human being." That's not how society works. Um, they upticked and normalized surgery for the masses globally to the tune of 1 million%. Yeah. I could see how the Kardashians did that. They opened the floodgates for Big Pharma to push the jab and the other weight loss jab. And somebody was talking about how 20 years ago they had this drug called Fent that people were taking and they were dying from, but you don't see the results of it, like the long-term effects of it, until 20 years later. So they're saying that, this is the same thing that could potentially be happening with Ozempic. People don't know the long-term effects of what Ozempic is going to do to people. That's a new word for me too. Like, yeah, autogenophilia is defined as a male's propensity to be sexually aroused by the thought or image of himself as a female. Wow! Wow! Pent. You should have known it. That's the penning for today. Autogenophilia. Am I saying it right? Autogenophilia is defined as a male's propensity to be sexually aroused by the thought or image of himself as female. Wow. Autogenophilia. Mmm. They push commercism and ridiculous consumption to the point of nauseism. I don't think it's exclusive to college and um, is that it uni? It's all about can be used for their agenda. It's all about who can be used for their agenda, and not forgetting the complete colonization and harvesting of Negro biological material for a clearly dwindling certain species of hominid. Maybe us sex changes is the best. this why this why a lot of the most don't like us. That's why. This why a lot of the most don't like us, Fatima. This why a lot of the most don't like us. Fatima said, and not forgetting the complete colonization and harvesting of Negro biological material for a clearly dwindling certain species of hominid who can't even walk outside without burning. Ooh wee. Who need, baby? You ain't even have to finish that because I already knew. I already knew. And I think that's what the vampire and the sunlight is a play off of. Because, they give you, and they need, it like the vampire literally tells you they need a source. They need to drink human blood. They need to have that human DNA in order to survive, and they can't stand sunlight. And so they need to reconnect with the source. They need that. That's basically just a bunch of um, cloaked a cloaked way of telling a story about how they need to reconnect with something that's more connected to the source. Because if you're not living but you're undead, then you're further proximity from source. You um you're you're a further proximity, but they give it all of these supernatural powers. And I think the supernatural powers speak to the powers that these entities have in the matrix, because they hold a lot of power in the matrix. They have stolen ancient wisdom, ancient information that gives them access to technology, that gives them access to things that make them do things that, to the regular average person, some of the things that Elon Musk is able to do would be supernatural. Some of the things that Donald Trump has been able to accomplish would be supernatural looking at the average person. And so, but this is about how much their ancestors, like ticks, you know, like leeches, like parasites, have siphoned from those in closer proximity to source. Amen, a woman. So, it's like they've been siphoning so much knowledge and information and energy and just harvesting so much of it. It's really that that gives them the illusion of being like um these vampires, and I think that's where the vampire story comes from. It's just very cloaked and riddled and given like all of these added things that you really just have to kind of like be able to decipher, but in this reality we are groomed, to take everything literally. The biological ISO update. They are most definitely a part of masonry and are using the craft to destroy. I def is def giving script predictive programming. Oh, okay. So you could see that. You could see that. So are you talking about with this McBride situation, or are you just talking about in general? Cause I'm trying to understand the Sarah McBride variable, because this is the first trans person that's elected to Congress, and they just so happen to be Caucasoid, and they're not giving any pushback on being misgender. Because I'm telling you, like, when Madam Speaker would have said Mr. McBride and all that, I wouldn't have made no big deal about it. I wouldn't have been long winded. I would have said, um, I wouldn't have said thank you, Madam Speaker, though. I would have said thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would have started. I would have started my talking like we gonna misgender each other. If you ain't got no respect for me, then I ain't got no respect for you. Respectfully, everybody about to be confused. When she would have said thank you, Mr. McBride, I would have said thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And kept right on with my talk. We ain't got to hold this up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And kept right on talking. You don't have no respect for me. I ain't got no respect for you. We ain't got to hold up this operation. We can keep it right on going. When you misgender me, when you Sir me and Mr. McBride me, it's giving op. It's giving something, and that's why I struggle with the people who are leading the movement, because I felt like Sarah should know innately, if people are not respecting you, then you don't have to give them. Why would you give respect to someone who's not giving any to you? Make that make sense. And everybody's trying to chalk this up to Sarah McBride being so classy. You could be classy and gather somebody's edges. I would have said, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And that's not ghetto, that's not ratchet, that's not lowbrow, that's not thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I would have started my like, that's tactful. What's different? Just the same way she did what she did, I would have did what I did, and we would have kept it pushing. Have you been watching Candace Owens expose trans investigation on Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, and his father, who he married and transitioned, who now goes by Bridget? Oh no, honey, you've got to put that in the comment section. Put that link in the comment section. I need that immediately. I need that immediately. I'm about ready to end this live so I can watch it now. Cause Candace be on it sometimes. Candace be on it sometimes. Oh yeah, Aaron, and I watched the movie about the psychiatrist, the black woman that you sent me. I think her name is what, Frances Wilson. Yeah, I watched it yesterday. Yeah, I was getting into some of her analogies and how the world is set up. Like, literally, the cigar represents the black phallus, the cigarette represents the white phallus, and That's why the cigarette was called a fag. I found that interesting because the white phallic is inferior to the black phallic. I just all of this logic and how the most bigger virile men play with the big brown balls, the basketball and the football, and the less virile men play with the small white balls, the tennis ball and the golf ball. I like that like and she was like, I can't make this up. Like whoever created this reality, they did that. So I don't know. I think maybe all of these sports and things may have not been created by Caucasian people. Like maybe that was the Moors who did that. Agents of chaos. 100% pure love. Masonry didn't used to be demonic. It was really just about building an alchemy. Then they came and stole it and added free to the beginning because it was free magic. Buildings and land. Mmm. Selected and groomed since childhood and sponsored by the Rothschild family. To be put into rule. Wow. 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 Selected and groomed from childhood and sponsored by the Rothschild family to be put into rule. Come on now, because you know the Rothschilds, honey. Child. Aaron said, read them. Aaron is cackling. We have you heard of homunculus? Homunculus. I haven't heard of that one either. Now, when y'all put in these words, come with the definitions, because I like the definitions. We learned another word today. In the American language, honey, or the English language, auto autogenophilia. Because girl, you know some girls about to get red with that one. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna lay lure that autogenophilia. They are most definitely a part of masonry. Yeah. Wait, I think I went back too far. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's right. It explains the fascination they have with ingesting black semen and urine. Mmm. Mmm. Because if you can't get the blood, what's the next best thing? Clocked parasites. Monsters Inc. told us what they were doing, surviving off of our fear and adrenochrome. I remember Monsters Inc. I watched that. Using life essence and human ways to preserve themselves, exactly like a damn parasite feeding. Exactly. I hear you, but Sarah is in a position where she can't respond like that. Well, Sarah don't. I don't understand how the speaker can say that to like you, guardian angel. You're not making any sense. If someone is calling you a gender that you don't identify as, and I'm sure that this person did not run for office and all of their identification and all of their paperwork does not align. Like I know before this person ran for office, everything, all that was straightened out. And so it's I'm not understanding if I say Mr. Speaker, how is that disrespectful? Like, how is that Sarah is in a position where she can't respond? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, what was going to happen? Were they going to stop it? Was it going to be over with? Was they going to say, wait a minute, what happened? Was they going to get drug out of there? What was going to happen if Sarah was going to say, because then Madam Speaker or Mr. Speaker at this point has to be classy too, because Mr. Speaker, hey, you called me Mr. I'm calling you Mr. Let's keep it pushing. I'm not understanding what the problem is. Like, it's not, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I mean, in general too, but she wouldn't have gotten that position if she didn't submit to what they want. And that's where I'm getting at. That's where I'm getting at. They needed a trans person who was willing to be publicly humiliated to model humiliation. They needed to get an all American white person. And then they try to paint this narrative as it's classy to acquiesce. Oh, Sarah is so classy to take being called something that does not align with how you see yourself. That's some white. That's some Caucasian shit. Like that's some white. That don't even make no sense. Like you don't have the right. That's like saying um that's like me calling somebody somebody something that does not align with them. Like now I'm just gonna be calling um black people Mexican and calling these people Hispanic just because that's how I see them, just because that's what you look like to me, because that's what I think you is, that's how I feel you is. Like now all black people is Haitian. All black people is Jamaican. Y'all all look the same to me. Like that's just weird. So when you speak about when you defend yourself or when you say no, this is how I want to be identified, this is how I want to be addressed, but you hit the hammer on the nail. You hit the hammer on the nail with that, Erin. I mean, in general, but she wouldn't have gotten that position if she didn't submit to what they want. And if she fall out of line, they got another one waiting in the corner. Another one being trained up right now. Sarah is a punk and a coward. Mm, 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 mm. As Negris de Terra, two spirit, we are forced to observe to observe and be observed. We too we see through this manufactured manifest destiny, aka colonial quantum entanglement, and are able to recall, mm, live in. Oh, okay. Like while we're experiencing this, we're observing it real time, but we're able to witness it, navigate it, but also be present enough to see the play. Like be able to witness everything that's happening while navigating it real time. Like being, maneuvering, and observing simultaneously. Being, existing, maneuvering, and witnessing all at once. Like a lot of people, they can't walk and chew gum at the same time. They can't be present and witness. They're so busy trying to navigate it. They're so caught up in what's in front of them that they haven't been they're not watching the play, they're not watching what's happening. And so it's like we're having an in-body experience and an out-of-body experience at the same time. Mm. Past, present. Come on, Link. Okay, let me see if I can save. I clicked on that damn link and almost ended the live. Wait, oh Lord. I'm trying to save it, not click on. Yeah, I was. I had to save the damn link, jail. Okay, or maybe it had stopped it. Wait a minute. It's absolutely the Moors who did it. Okay. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Sarah, it's not a big deal to Sarah because she's still Tim. Oh my goodness. Freedom, 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 free masonry. They are all related as they practice incest as a means of keeping wealth in their family, which also explains they're all consuming they're all consuming evil. Mental illness explains the molestation and cult and demonic. So that you think that that's what corrupts the mind is is this need to try to keep things in the bloodline. Cause I was watching a video that Understanding did the other day, and I really hope that he never says anything homophobic or transphobic because I really appreciate his content. I'm really hoping that he never says anything transphobic. But he was talking about somebody, a being named Vadar and Marduk, and he was saying that Elon Musk is, I think, Marduk, and Marduk has like this affinity for the X symbol, and he was talking about how um they say, there's this one dragon, and people keep asking how the dragon has lived for so long, like how the dragon keeps coming to this planet, like how the dragon has survived all of these years. And what he was explaining is that the ancient ones understood how to how to jump back in to the bloodline of their offspring. And that is why in a king's line or a royal line, it was so important to procreate. And like you said, they were procreating with sisters, they were procreating with brothers, and this strengthened the likelihood of being able to come back in through that exact line, having access to those memories and that information and that which have been passed down genetically through your genes. So, these beings will reincarnate through the bloodline, and that is why it was so important to have an offspring. That's why it was so important to have a child. And a lot of times, even if they had a child that was not 100% of the bloodline, because 9 times out of 10, the 100% of the bloodline was you sleeping with your sister. And we understand that this goes back to even the gods, even those that they deemed were gods. And let's be clear, in Greek mythology, we already know that Zeus was a lower level god and that Hera was a lower level, like these Roman and Greek gods were lower level deities. They weren't like the supreme deities like we've been convinced that they were, because if they were, they wouldn't have been split. They wouldn't have needed to sleep with their siblings. See, the beings that created them the beings that didn't need to come together in a sexual way in order to create, those were definitely probably the more advanced and higher level deities. But once you got to Zeus and Hera and you got to sleep with your sister in order to give a pure blood god, but when you went and slept with a mortal or slept with someone outside of the bloodline, they was a demigod. They weren't a whole divine being according to lore and according to the story. So really, honestly and truly, they're using that as a blueprint or a foundation to justify why these kings and queens slept with their siblings. We see this in the story of the Greek gods of the pantheon, like why Zeus was partnered with Hera, who was his sister, his his whole, so not his half sister, his whole sister, same fathered by the same energy, fathered by Uranus, which was the sky, and Gaia, which was Mother Earth. Which is crazy because in some stories there was no union between the sky and the earth. There was just Gaia giving birth to everything. And so it's interesting how this story is told in different ways according to what who's telling the story, because sometimes it's just this story, this understanding. And then like even when people talk about the sun and the moon, some people say that the moon, like we hear this story, the man in the moon, but then we hear this that the moon is feminine energy, pure feminine energy. And then even with the sun, some people say that the sun is feminine, but then we hear that the sun is also feminine and masculine. And then we hear that the sun is just masculine energy. And so I just feel like I personally feel like everything has feminine and masculine energy. I think that some things may have more of one energy than the other, but I think that everything has all of the components, but maybe it just kind of like is more centered in one energy. But depending on who's telling the story, because again, his story is always going to be written by the victor. And so in order to create a binary and make that like this story that we follow throughout time, we just kind of be like, oh, okay, well, this is masculine and this is feminine, this is dark and this is light, this is gay and this is straight, this is trans and this is cis, this is black and this is white and this is old and this is young. When really, honestly and truly, when there's always a middle ground. Like you don't like there's always a middle ground in everything. Like you don't go from being 20 to 80. Like you have to be middle aged. Like, and we just live in a reality that does not like to acknowledge that middle ground. Before you become what is considered obese, you start to become thick. You start to get a little fluffy. You slim, then you thick, and then you voluptuous, or what some people will call obese. But there is a period where you're not really slim and you're not really big. You're not really old and you're not really young. And we just have a problem with like really like doing the work in that area. Propensity to use, abuse, and discard via sacrifice and torture of infants and entire groups of people and their culture, and they plunder. And I could believe that they were doing that with babies, because I would imagine I've heard about that in African culture, like in some parts of African culture. When I was in Africa, I heard about witch doctors who would like babies would, like, we were here on the radio where babies would come up missing, like literally they be over there stealing babies. And like you'll hear it on the radio, like a woman walking in the store and which is crazy to me. But it's not really crazy when you've been to Africa, because they everybody be calling each other brother and sister, but child, it's colonialized. It has changed so much. It's like it's not, it's not given. And this is how I knew. Like another thing, like when Aaron said, when you went over there, did you think you was going to the motherland? And like when I got over there, like there was just so many things that shows me that perhaps this is not the cradle of consciousness. Perhaps this is not where the most emotionally intelligent or sentient beings originated from. Perhaps not. But like when you would be on the radio and you would hear of like a woman getting her baby stole, because like she getting ready to go in the stove, and she asked somebody to hold her baby for her, and when she come back out they done ran off with her baby. Like I literally heard stories like this on the radio while I'm in a taxi driving somewhere, like while I'm in a taxi going somewhere. And I would ask people like why were they stealing babies, and they were stealing babies because some of the witch doctors would use babies for rituals. And so what they would do with the babies was they would take the baby skull after they sacrificed the baby. They would take the baby skull and they would put the baby skull in the ground of a building when they got ready to build a building, like when they got ready to create a building or whatever conglomerate entity they were starting. They needed the baby as a sacrifice to ensure the growth of the building. So pretty much the baby's life force was like a spell to say like this baby probably would have lived to become 60, 70, 80 years old. They've taken this baby's life force and combined it with the building. So like the buildings that when they started a business, they literally would take the baby skull and put it in the ground, and they would have like the witch doctors to pray over the ground and use the baby skull. And they would create a business and use the baby's skull, use the baby's energy, use the baby's life force to sustain the whole business. Like this is the type of stuff that some cultures practice, in certain. And I mean like that's like for me, I am a person who has an open mind when it comes to how I look at the world and how I see the world. But I just can't imagine taking a baby's life for a business. And more importantly, like even me trying to fathom hurting a living thing for my business, why would you go off and hurt somebody else's child? Like if you're gonna do some sick shit like that, do it to your own. Like 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 you live with that. You live with that burden, but don't go and take someone else's child, don't go and take someone else's baby for your dream. Like you live with that. You keep that in house. If that's something that you want to do, if that's something that you want to live with, then you do that to your own. Don't go out and take someone else's baby and harm somebody else's baby for some stuff that you want. Like that is just wild to me. Right. That's the point I was making. She has to submit to them in order for her to be up there anyway. Okay. If she had self respect, then she wouldn't have made it up there anyway because she has to submit to them to keep her seat. Ooh, guardian angel, you had said that, huh? But they try to make her look classy though. That's the gag for me. That's the gag for me. Like talking about she's so classy. But you said that in a nutshell. If she had self-respect, then she wouldn't be up there anyway because she has to submit to them to keep her seat. Mm. Humiliate, buck break, McBride. Wow. And that goes to show you, even they get buck broke. Guardian Angel said Fatima right. So the only thing real at these tables, are the chairs. Everything is humiliation ritual. And the ones that get picked are interlopers who will do anything for the patriarchy. Whoo! That's why I wanted to go live. And I'm happy that we only got a few on here because it's the perfect ones came on. The intellectuals, baby. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to create a private group for stuff like this. Y'all need to let me know if y'all gonna support me if we do like a if we do like a little because you know all of it's gonna go toward the nation, and I'm gonna find a way to give back. But I want to do like a little private group so we could stop um so that we could block the monitoring spirits when I want to have certain conversations, and people who come back and they take advantage of this information and not so. So I'm thinking of, I don't know if I want to do a Patreon or if I just want to do a members only on here. I was trying to see how the members only thing worked though. Do you have to pay every time I do a video, or would you just pay like one small fee for the whole month? Like I haven't really understood how the members only thing work. But I really want to do something where like when I'm talking about certain topics, we can negate the monitoring spirit, and we could talk like we're talking now, you know, more privately and not have to worry about everybody coming on. And at least if they're gonna be a monitoring spirit, you'll have to pay. You'll have to sow into the ministry, because I'm really really tired of the monitoring spirits just being on the lives all the time and not being willing to support in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like that shit is getting old. Like it really is. I'm getting tired of it. And I haven't wanted to do the members thing because I really do honestly enjoy the people who support me, and I ain't want to, make it, like no money, like because I enjoy y'all, but I feel like there has to be some type of measure where we could have some sense of privacy and be able to talk and be able to share knowledge and be able to communicate and not have to deal with the monitoring energy. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think as we get further into this administration, it is going to start to play with the psyche a little bit more. So if anybody have any ideas about ways that we can meet privately and have certain conversations without the monitoring spirits, I would really, really appreciate that, because I think as we get further into this administration, I think that some of that energy, me being so empathic, it really does. You feel it, and I don't want to be drained all the time. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be always resting and I have no fucking energy. So, like, if y'all have some ideas, let me know. Because I do know that some of the people who support me, are who are not in a financial position to be paying like a membership fee, and I don't want to put them, I don't. Some of the people who really really seriously support me is not in a position to do that, So, what ways can we work out where where we can create a private space where we could share and we could talk and we could build and not have to be bombarded by the monitoring spirits. If we decide to do, maybe some people do a membership and maybe some people we do a scholarship for them, and don't charge them. Like, would y'all be mad if I gave out scholarships to people who couldn't pay the membership? Like, like that's something we need to talk about, so, yeah. Caitlyn never seemed genuine to me. I find it difficult, near impossible, to even refer to that person as a she. No shade. I think that person was simply a gateway drug, Caitlyn, catalyst to usher in harvesting. Child, when I tell you, I definitely feel like because the somebody else brought that to my attention. One of my other sisters brought that to my attention. The whole movement shifted, and the bitterness really set in for us when that person came in and got all them damn awards. Welcome live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Where the fuck did that come from? Caitlyn is a cross dresser, plain and simple. One of those dates that wants to dress up and go hang out with the dolls. Oh, you missed it, baby. You see it pit right there. Auto, autogenephilia, baby. Fatima gave us that word. Autogenephilia is designed as a man, as a male's propensity to be sexually aroused by the thought or image of himself as a female. That sound like Caitlyn. That definitely sound like Kate. Autogenephilia, as is defined as a male's propensity to be sexually aroused by the thought or image of himself as a female. And then to add more to it, turned around and partner with another male who is a sex change or who's had the surgery. They're saying Caitlyn had that surgery. I don't think that piece gone. I'm sorry, I don't think that piece gone. But they talking about Caitlyn had bottom surgery. I'm not buying it. Non-organic two-spirit inversive as Baphomet portals cause no shade. Um, I've noticed a heightened level of deviltry and psychopathy in those pale LGBT folk. Now, I don't really mess with, like, that's why I always create my own Baphomet type beings, because I don't trust the Baphomet that we've seen in society, like that image and that likeness. Like, I do believe there's power in the Baphomet entity, the masculine and the feminine woven together in a sculpture. I definitely could see the symbolism and the power in that. But I personally like, I have to trust it. I have to have a relationship. Like, if someone's to make a statue for me that I trusted and I knew, then maybe I would trust that. Like, somebody made tarot cards for me before. I trust those. But like me, just like with other people's art, I have to like kind of know you. And so, like, I'm not just gonna go in the store and buy something as powerful as the Baphomet and bring it into my house. So yeah, I'm definitely like, and the pale children, they play with all of it, because it aligns with their culture, it aligns with their reality, it aligns with how they've been groomed and how they've been taught. So they play with all of it and they see it as normal. And they don't know what spirits they be entertaining, because a lot of them, they be so desperate for some sense of power, some sense of connection to power. So they'll play with all of it. They don't treat anything sacred, or are cautious with anything, or think about things like that. Though a lot of them, not all of them, but many of them are just like, let me try, I want to, and that's that baby energy that I be talking about. The more they inbreed, the more evil, the more biologically deficient, the more sick of mind you get. That is true about Elon and being a console to be harvested via the bloodline. but also the lowest of the low frequencies. About the Morduke and expose in the Unk in the UK was done recently. The first generation Nigerians who practiced it in the UK when more than 10 infants decapitated head, arms, and legs and kept on washing up the Thames nasty river. Oh wow. So they were doing that in the UK? Oh wow. Oh wow. The baby's remains were washing up the river. Whew. Well, child, let me light a candle for that. I gotta go downstairs and get my cat. Gotta go downstairs and get the lighter because I don't think this one is working. Oh wait, hold on. Look at that. This lighter was acting crazy, and now this late, and now it just went on ahead and lit. I didn't even have to go downstairs and get the lighter. Look at them ancestors. Look at them babies. Look at them babies. Y'all see me got the fabric stretched out on the bed, child. I'm supposed to be working on something today. I started cutting, honey, and then I started thinking about this topic, and I wanted to go live and I wanted to talk about this with y'all. You know, talk about all of this. I'm gonna take a little bit of that, take a little bit of sage, light it up a little bit. Mm, Euphoria, the show, news, news just in. Hunter Scarver, a white trans girl from that show, the remix of Skins, I forget the name, is all over the timelines crying about being issued a male passport. If only I had those first world issue. Yeah, well, I know about the light skinned girl um who's getting ready to sue. So I guess they gonna partner together. You know when a white girl get in it, that make it serious. They start taking it serious. Then Euphoria is the show. So there was a trans girl in the Euphoria show. You know when I used to say every time when we first started doing the chant, Ekma, oh yeah. Like when we would say this chant, it would rain literally every time we would say it. Ekma, oh yeah. And I notice now when I do the chant, it doesn't rain, and I think that's because I needed a sign to know the power that was in the word. Like we needed to know, and once we knew the power was there, once we felt the power was there, we no longer needed signs. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but I don't want you to think that your voice has lost power, that your words have lost power, simply because every time you say something, you don't get a sign. Every time you pray, you don't get a sign right then and there. Every time you speak something into existence, you don't get a sign right then and there. Don't think that you're not being heard. The truth is that you've begun to hear yourself. The truth is that you don't need a sign to come from outside. you're feeling the power from the inside. And so when you start to feel that power on the inside, you don't always need something to happen on the outside to show you that you're being heard and that something is happening. So I just wanted to share that bit of knowledge and that bit of wisdom with y'all, today. That's growth, but the ancestors, whoever it is you pray to, whoever it is you find power in, or draw strength from, um, in the beginning, they'll move things for you. They'll make something happen to show you the power. But once you start to believe in yourself and once you start to feel that power for yourself, then you'll start to feel things move within you. And that's how you'll know, that the power is there. Amen. Amen. So, thank you to everyone who contributed to the conversation today. Thank you, Fatima. I copied that link. I'm finna go and watch that video right after I go and use the bathroom when I get off this live. Thank you, Guardian Angel. Thank you, 100% Pure Love. Thank you, Aaron. Y'all were really, really, I love sharing intellectual information. And like I said, we're gonna find a way to meet privately. We definitely have to start brainstorming and workshopping that because these monitoring spirits chill. And I know that might be a problem because we don't always all be on the live together. So having like a members group, like we would have to get on the same schedule and all that. So I don't know, chill. But I feel like when it's time, I feel like the ancestors is going to provide a way, and things is going to work out how they need to work out. So that's what I'm gonna have faith in say. Amen, amen. Thank you for the purple hearts. Thank you. Give me some gray ones too. Can I get some gray hearts too? Bound and round, both circle and square, we too speak life, so operations beware. Sending healing to those in despair, El Babosawa, which means we come in peace, no harm to any, Lelim Lele. Iangani, Iyanko, Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God, Goddess. And if I am, then you know that you are. You don't have to be filthy rich to stand on business. This candle is lit to acknowledge the ancestors who have come, the ancestors who are here, and the ancestors who will come. As I blow out this candle on this physical plane, it grows with intentions on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Amen. Amen. I love y'all. Take care and be well. And I might go live tomorrow. I have to see how the day work out. But I enjoyed y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Enjoy y'all weekend. Girl, I might not have no sip tonight because I'm trying to be good. But on 100% love, make sure you 100% pure love. Make sure you pour out a little swallow of that Bacardi for me, sis. Mwah. Love y'all later.